Welcome to another Fast Tips video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to explain when you should and when you should not store numeric data in a text field. That's right. A lot of the times, even though something says number, like room number or apartment number or order number, a lot of the times, those numbers should really be stored as text fields. So we'll go over some examples, and then I'll show you how to properly sort those numbers, even though they're stored in a text field, using the val function. Okay, first of all, there are certain types of data that you're always going to use a numeric data type for. Money should always be stored in a currency field. Dates and times, a date field. Although there are some exceptions to that. For example, I've got a whole separate video on using crazy dates like 65 million years ago. That's a whole different story. We're talking about like regular dates and times for everyday living, appointments, calendar, schedules, that kind of stuff. IDs, of course, I recommend should always be an auto number. Now, when should you store something in a text field? Well, obviously, if it needs a letter, even if it's something called number, right? Like order number. A lot of companies that I used to build databases for, you go in there and they've got an order number that's 2B4HB. It's not a number. They're calling it a number, but it's not really a number. Or something blatantly obvious like a Canadian or a UK postcode, right? Those obviously have letters in them. They got letters, put it in a text field. Point is, just because someone calls it a number doesn't mean it's a number. All right, this one's a little trickier. Leading zeros. If you've got to store a leading zero, use a text data type. Zip codes, for example, or social security numbers. Mine, for example, starts with 065. So you have to have a text data type to store that zero. Another example is when something is usually a number, but once in a while it might need a letter, like a room number, 21B, or an apartment number, right, 34.5. And I put that little half on the bottom there because yeah, you can store that little half symbol. There's a character for that. I personally don't recommend it. I'll store a half as a 1/2, but again, that's kind of up to you. Whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, whatever you want it to look like when it's printed, I guess, right? Okay, so what's the rule of thumb here? My rule of thumb, and I've been teaching this for 20 years, way back to my Access beginner classes, I say, are you ever going to be doing math on the number? Are you ever going to add or subtract two phone numbers? Right? Are you ever going to multiply a couple of zip codes together? No, probably not. Are you ever going to be finding the average of a bunch of social security numbers? No, not really. They're pretty much just bits of data to look up. And Mike Wolf over at No Longer Set calls this a numeroliteral test. And yes, he made that word up. It's funny because whenever I do one of my videos, I always do a Google search first to see what everyone else has to say on the subject. And I'm always pleasantly surprised when I come across one of Mike's articles. He writes some great stuff. He's got when to store numbers as text. This is from about a year ago. He's got some great information. Here's a list of stuff. And he asks you, what do you think you should store those as? Right? Zip codes, he already kind of talked about. Phone numbers, ISBN numbers, right? Things like check numbers, bank account numbers. That's just data. You're really never going to add up a couple of bank account numbers. Now, student grades or grade point averages, those you might actually have to do math on, right? You might have to calculate if you have a bunch of grades for a specific student, you might have to average those all together to get his final average, for example. All right, there's his numeroliteral test. I love that word. And like he says, does it make sense to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the contents of that field? And funny thing is, as I was reading this, I came down here and realized I replied to it about a year ago. So anyways, I love Mike's stuff. I'll put a link to this down below in my link section. You can go click on this and read it yourself if you want to. I strongly recommend subscribing to his newsletter as well. Now, the bigger picture is, what does it matter? Why should you use text instead of a number? Well, the bottom line and the most important reason I can think of is that text is easier to manipulate in the database than number fields are. Believe it or not, if you want to get data out of that data, you want to manipulate it in any way, it's easier to work with text. For example, zip codes can tell you roughly where in the country someone is, right? The two places I've lived, Western New York, all the zip codes start with 14. South Florida, where I am now, 33, Southwest Florida, technically. Okay, so if you want to pull information out of that zip code, all you have to do is use the left function. right? Left zip code, comma 2 will give you that. And then you can look that up and figure out where they are. Could you do it with math? Yeah, I suppose you could. You could integer divide by 1,000 and then multiply it out. Yeah, okay, but it's easier just to use the left function. Phone numbers, for example. You want to get data out of the data, right? You want to pull some information out of the phone number. Well, the area code's easy. That's just the left 3 characters, right? That's easy. We just looked at that. What about the exchange, the local exchange? I grew up in a little town called Hamburg, New York, which is just south of Buffalo. And if you saw someone with a 649 or a 648 number, you knew that was in Hamburg. I think they've added some more since then, but this was back in the 80s. So I'm old. But anyways, you could pull that out of there very easily too, right? If you only service, people in Hamburg, you only want to service those 2 exchanges, use the mid function, mid phone number, comma 5, comma 3. That says go in 1, 2, 3, 4, find the 5th character, and give me 3 of them. And bam, you got the exchange. I had a customer years ago that I built a database for, and they wanted to keep their old order numbers because they were going to have someone input all the old, Excel data and all that into the database. And their order number looked like that. And yes, it's just a number, but we're going to store that as text because they want to get information out of it. The first digit was, is it delivery or pickup, right? 0 or 1. Digits 2 through 4 were the customer number, okay? And digits 5 through 6 were the sales rep. So they encoded information in their order number that they had been using that for decades before. But that's not really a number. It's a text value. So that's the number one reason why you want to use text instead of numbers. It's just easier to work with on a database level. Now, one problem that you have with text fields is you may often want to sort things based on a numeric value. Okay? And when you sort text fields, you get an alphanumeric sort. Okay, they're sorted like this. You get 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, then 2, because it sorts all of the first character, right? A through Z, 1 through 9, right? Then all of the second column, then all of the third column, and so on. Whereas what you want is a numeric sort like this, where you've got the value of that number. And we can get the value from the val function, which I'm going to show you in a second in the database. Okay, so that's an alphanumeric sort. That's a numeric sort. Let's see how this works. Okay, here I am in my Tech Help free template. This is a free database. You can grab a copy off my website if you want to. Let's go into the customer table, and let's add room number in here. Room number. And we're going to make that a text field. Okay, because room numbers might have like 2B or 3C. Okay, but they call it a room number. So I'm going to save that. Let's go and put some room numbers in here. Let me go out here to the room number column, and I'm just going to slide that left. Right there. Okay, so let's pretend we're doing college students, and you're delivering packages or transcripts or whatever, and you want to sort these college students based on their room number so you can, so you could print all these reports out and have them in order when you walk down the hall and hand them out. Room 1, room 2, room 3, and so on. So let's say we got a 1, 2, 7, 3, 9, 21, 101, and so on. Okay, bunch of random numbers in here. Okay, good enough for now. All right, save that. Let's make a query, create query design. Let's bring in that customer table, and I'm going to close that, and let's bring in the first name and the room number. If you never made a query before, by the way, go watch my Access Beginner Level 1 class, 4 hours long. It's absolutely free. I'll put a link down below. Now, if I run the query at this point, you'll see there's everybody. Let's get rid of anyone who doesn't have a room number. So we're going to come in here, and I'm going to say for the criteria is not null. That means they have to have something in that room number field. There it is. Okay, there's all our people with room numbers. Now, if I sort this column, since it's text, I get that alphanumeric sort, right? All the ones first, then all the twos, then all the threes, and so on. So what we're going to do is create a calculated field right over here where we're going to use the value function. If you've never done a calculated field before, go watch this video again. I'll put a link down below in the links section. All right, so let's click right here. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. Shift F2, that zooms in. We're going to create a calculated field called RN for room number, right? Colon. And it's going to be the value, val, of room number. just like that. Take room number, put it in a value function, call that RN. What that does. I'll widen this out so you can see it better. Okay. Ready? Let's run it. And look at that. It's exactly the same as the numbers in this column, but there's a dead giveaway. There's a way you could tell that that's text and that's a number. And if you're familiar with Excel, you probably know what it is. Numbers always line up on the right. Anything that's numeric data, dates, currency, by default, they line up on the right, whereas text values always line up on the left. Okay? But we're still sorted by that text field. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the ascending here, and we're just going to put it over here. Look at that. And now when I run it, now I've got a normal numeric sort for that room number, which is itself a text field. Okay, and that's what we use queries for, these calculated fields. Now here's the beautiful part about the value function. I love the val function. Watch this. If this guy is in, let's say he's in room 7A, watch this. You still get a 7. See that? If the val function sees numeric data at the beginning of the text field, it will use that as the value. It's really cool. Because then you can use it for full addresses too, like 101 Main Street. There you go, you get the 101 because of the val function. It finds all the numbers at the beginning. It doesn't have any numbers in the end though, so if you have like a, part 2 at the end or whatever, it'll ignore that. But as soon as it sees text, it stops. All right, 9B. And you can still sort those numbers in with the val function. Val function is pretty cool. So there you go. There's your fast tip for today. I hope now you understand when you should use text versus when you should use number. I'll put links to everything down below that I talked about in today's class. If you want to learn more about this stuff, Access Beginner 1 and Access Beginner 3 is where I spend a lot more time covering field properties and things like when to use text and numbers and stuff like that. So that's it. I hope you learned something for today. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you finish the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.